Hello, my friends. You know, every time I think about the new paradigm and feel it, kind of sense how it is here, I it really enlivens me. It's like this confirmation that there is something new and it's already here. And the way I feel it is as, you know, inspiration and joy and what is really shifting for all of us. And because there are so many of my friends and clients who are also aware of it, I think it's worth talking about this some more. I've talked about it a lot, and it's just up for me again today to really explore that with you. And I wonder if you are sensing any of this or if it makes sense to you what I'm talking about. How is it for you? What do you sense when you maybe agree, like, yeah, there's something new here, the news coming in, I can just feel things are changing. What is it exactly that you are aware of? I know in myself and with many of my friends and acquaintances that when we start putting words to something we are sensing, it kind of solidifies it. It makes it more real in this dimension. So even though you may be somebody who senses things, I'm like that too. I can just feel it, but I don't quite know what it is. And then somebody over there may say, they put words to something and then suddenly it clicks in me and then I see it more. It becomes more real in my experience. So if we talk about that a little bit today, I want to see, can you put some words to that? What is it that you're sensing? What tells you that, let's call it the new paradigm or the new earth, is actually here and available to us? How do you know that? And if you feel moved to, please comment and share what your experience is. It's always nice to get some kind of a conversation going around it because I think we all benefit from it. So for me, of course, like I just shared, there's kind of a sense of a joy, a newness. It does what I'm sensing doesn't fit me anymore as the way I knew myself, as the old Pernilla who was identified with the Matrix. It it this old suit, it just doesn't fit anymore. It doesn't resonate. I'm not interested. I have no energy to engage in it anymore. It just feels like we're done. We've broken up and there's no way we can get back together again because there is this new interesting thing that's coming here flirting with me and connecting with me, and that feels it's much more resonant with who I am now. So there is kind of a shift maybe from one lover to the next or whatever we want to call it, and we need to pay attention to that. It's kind of like when you are in a relationship that has outlived itself. I'm not saying you have to find a new lover in order to leave. That has nothing to do with it. But you feel that the old is outdated. This relationship is not working anymore because I'm different. I have changed too much and I cannot live in this old way of being anymore. It's like it goes against my my core values, my direct experience, my felt sense in the body. It just goes like, "Arr." So we need to move on, right? And that is how I see it with the old paradigm, with the matrix that we are literally done with. Oh my God, have I talked about this a lot, right? And the work for all of us is to get all these tendrils that were stuck in the matrix through our attachments, through our emotions, to all the parts inside of us that we have not fully healed yet and brought back on board to what is much more true for us today. So it's kind of getting out of that and then start honoring this new experience that we're having. Please take this in as this is for you if you're not already connected with it. And you may be connected with it at a certain level, but not at others. That's how it is for all of us. Nobody, jumps ship and then it's over. There's a lot of old tendrils that we kind of really need to bring home, or for that matter, cut off and leave it in the old, whatever works for you. But there is the energetics of it, how it has impacted us. That is what we need to keep bringing home, keep including, so we're not leaving any parts of us, who we truly are, in the old paradigm. We need to bring all the truth of who we are back home. And then that wholeness will fit into the new energies that are here and that are really wanting our attention. And it certainly has gotten mine. And I also want to be honest with you, it's not easy to make that shift. You may relate to this, to make this shift, because some of the old is just like so stuck in the old paradigm. These emotions, these ways of being, these energies, they're like, some of them are so persistent, right? Have you noticed? And it makes it sometimes very hard to dissolve it, to soften it, to love it, to allow it. It's not an easy transition for most of us. Certain parts are very, very easy to let go of. Other parts are very, very sticky. But let's look at the old world, the old paradigm, the matrix. Everything is built on duality and struggle and strife and division and righteousness and greed. And I can appreciate that we're probably all done with that, like for real, right? But how are we going to be in a new world? How do we create a new world with a new way of being, with a whole new identity that has nothing to do with the old? How do we do that? When let's say the drive of the old, there's been a drive, right, to get things done. That has been definitely one of my big ones, that I have to do something. And it's like the old world was so conditioned on doing and getting things done and, moving ahead, being the doer, being the doer. That's what most of us, I think, are still identified with, some more than others, for sure. And that energy is still living in most of us. And it can be anything. You pick your own. There is usually certain energies that are very hard to let go of. There could be grief. It could be addictions to, food addictions or alcohol. It can be anything where there's still this old energy still in our experience that we need to bring back home. Our energies need to be brought back home, not the addictions, not the doing, but it's like we need to pull ourselves of who we are and come in alignment with what is true to us now. We can't bring that into the new because it does not belong there. It's a different frequency. So it's simply impossible. You can't mingle them. Maybe there is a place in between where finding ourselves, like that place. I did a YouTube on like a stepping stone where we can hang out on this stepping stone when we leave the old and we're not quite ready to jump into the new. And these, of course, are just metaphors. We can hang out here and do whatever we need to do, but there is a part of us that needs to stop doing what we have been doing in the old paradigm all the time. And that to me is also a sense of, it's a sense of dying to who we used to be, to who we believed ourselves to be. And that is probably the hardest part on this journey, to really, if we want to be somebody new, we have to leave behind the old. We can't be part new, part old if we want to be new, different, right? So this is the hard work, and I I can appreciate that. I'm very aware of that in myself too. Certain things just you slip right out of them, or you melt right back into them, whatever you use, whatever method works for you. But there is this old stuff. But at the same time, there is the new one, and that's what I'm talking about today. There is this new energy that is inviting us to come over here, to embrace it, to melt into the new. So you see, the process is leaving the old, and then leaving all the old energy behind. And then little by little, we merge over in the new. So, what would the new look like? What is it going to be and feel like? And of course, we don't really know that yet. We can see a lot of people, they are creating new ways of being, maybe new ways of schooling, new ways of teaching. The food system is changing, where we are hopefully going to move more back to what's organic and natural, connected to the earth. Communication is going to change. And these are things that we're feeling, the whole money system. I've talked about that before. It's like we need to create a new currency, right? The old is based on hard work and, you know, collecting, greedy energy. It's not based on just equal exchange. So it may not so much be the money as it is the way of exchanging. Now, the new currency could be love. It could be equality. It needs to be something that gives us joy. I mean, to me, it's something that is connected to my source, and that may still show up in a certain currency. But if we're not connected to our source, which is where everything comes from, the currency can't be separate from who we are. So there is a lot for all of us to look at, to let go of, to embrace, to let in. But I think I want to just invite us all today to really take a look at what it's going to look like for you, and just sense into, and here we come back to the longing. The longing will tell us what you deeply long for this very moment, whether you're aware of it consciously right now or not. There is something in you that is yearning for a better world, a different way of being, both inside of yourself and outside as you are interacting with the world. This longing, this tells each individually what the new world, what the new paradigm is going to look like and feel like. So I really want to encourage each and every one of us to take this longing, or this, you kind of have a sense of what you would like it to look like. But it also is very much who we are. Who do you long to be? How do you long for to be different than you are now? What behavior, or what thought pattern, or what emotional expression in you doesn't really resonate with you anymore? And you may still feel stuck in it, but and part of you feels like, this is just, I don't want to be like this anymore. It's just not right. And that, as far as I can see, is where the emotions are still attached to the old way, to working hard, to arguing, to being right, whatever it is. That's the old. And that's something we can sit on this little stepping stone and just dissolve. And I've made a lot of videos recently about how to really heal our core wounds. You can go back and there's a lot of them because that's been very big for me right now. To just it's coming through. It's my own process. More clarity is coming through. So if this is important for you to move into the new paradigm as a new way of being, as a new way of expressing. So just for today, I want to invite you to just really feel into your heart. Feel into what you long for. This is the new paradigm. It's not out there. It's here. And by you and I tuning into that, we open that door and more can come out. It just seems to be the way it is in my experience. And I'm always open to learning more from others, new ways. But this seems to be a very simple way. And the more we spend time in that longing, it grows. It grows, and it's almost like it's crowding out the old, if that makes sense. It's a new energy, and it's growing and it's expanding. And the old energies, it's going to be harder for them to enter you and direct you and convince you that they are right, because your own aura of the longing, the divine longing that is radiating out of you, that is the new paradigm. And the invitation is to step into it.